Welcome to Swirl AI Search, the podcast that dives deep into the world of enterprise AI search. Discover how to unlock the value hidden within your internal data and accelerate your journey to actionable insights. Let's cut through the noise and find out how you can get the most out of your internal information. As befitting a podcast about AI, this episode was created with the help of Notebook LM. Please enjoy the Swirl AI Search podcast.
Have you ever felt like meetings are just taking over your company?
Like they're eating it alive.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not even talking about like being in the meeting itself, but all the work he got to do beforehand to get ready.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All that prep work, digging through files, emails,
Yeah.
just to feel like you can show up prepared.
It's a ton of time, and it feels like a lot of companies don't even notice it happening.
It really is. It's like a hidden expense. One of those silent drains on your resources that can really hit the bottom line.
And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. We've got this article, No Time to Prepare for Meetings, AI Search Can Help by Stephen Balzac.
Oh, yeah, Balzac.
And it just got me thinking about all the time and money that gets wasted because our meetings are just not run efficiently.
You know what Balzac does really well in this article?
What's that?
He really highlights the opportunity cost of all this wasted time. Like, every hour that you're spending trying to hunt down one little piece of data,
Yeah.
that's an hour that you could have spent actually thinking, strategically problem solving, doing real productive work.
Yeah, totally.
Hmm.
And he actually uses this great analogy. He says that prepping for meetings can feel like you're on this massive data scavenger hunt.
I love that.
Yeah, and you're just like digging through old emails, presentations, notes from who knows how many meetings ago.
Sifting through it all, trying to find the one thing you need.
Ugh, it's exhausting. And the worst part is like if you decide to just skip the prep altogether, then the meeting itself is just a waste of time.
Right. You end up with a double whammy of inefficiency.
Exactly. And it's not just about one person's productivity either. This inefficiency just kind of spreads across the whole company.
Yeah, when you think about it.
Like you multiply those wasted hours by the number of employees, by the number of meetings they're all having.
It really starts to add up. It's like this big financial leak that no one's noticing.
Balzac seems to think that AI search tools could be part of the solution, but he's also cautious about just like throwing any AI at the problem.
He is. And one of his big concerns is data security, which makes sense, especially with a lot of these cloud-based AI tools that want you to upload all your company's information.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker for a lot of organizations.
For sure. It's a huge risk.
Yeah.
And even if you were okay with the security risk, just the logistics of constantly uploading new data, it would be a nightmare. It's just not practical for most businesses.
Not at all. And that's where a tool like Swirl AI Search comes in. They've got the zero ETL approach, which basically avoids all those data migration headaches.
It does.
Zero ETL, though I'm not sure everyone's familiar with all the data acronyms. What does that actually mean?
Okay, so it means you don't have to extract, transform, and load your data into some separate system.
Ah, okay.
Swirl just works directly with your data wherever it already lives.
Mm.
So emails, file servers, chat platforms, all that stuff stays exactly where it is.
So no security risks and no logistical nightmare. So it sounds like a win-win. But how does Swirl actually help with the whole meeting prep thing?
Think of it like this. It's a superpowered search engine that's specifically designed for your company's data.
Oh.
So you type in a question or a topic you want to learn more about, and Swirl searches across all your different data sources at the same time.
Simultaneously.
Exactly. And it uses AI to really understand what you're looking for and then gives you back the most relevant information.
So instead of spending hours digging through files, you're getting what you need in just a few seconds.
Exactly. And because Swirl integrates with your company's existing security protocols, your data is safe and sound. Plus, you have control over which AI models you actually use, so you can make sure everything's compliant with your organization's policies.
So we've gone from potentially losing an entire workday to prepping for meetings to maybe getting most of that time back.
It's pretty amazing.
It seems like Swirl could be a real game changer when it comes to efficiency, but how does all this lead to better meetings?
That's $1 million question, right?
It is.
So when people can find the information they need quickly, they can walk into that meeting feeling totally prepared. They've got the data they need. They understand the background information. They're clear on the issues.
They're not just trying to catch up or making assumptions.
Exactly. They can actually contribute something meaningful to the conversation right from the start.
And when everyone is well prepared, the whole meeting just flows better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Discussions are more focused, decisions are based on facts, and the meeting actually achieves its objective.
So it's not just about saving time, it's about making that meeting time more valuable.
Exactly.
Balzac mentions that you could go from spending 7 to 9 hours a week on prep work down to less than 1 hour.
That's a huge difference.
It is. That's a massive amount of time.
Yep.
But it's not just about the time savings, is it?
No, it's not. It's about taking that time and making sure the meeting is worth it.
Yeah, like investing in better preparation so you get better outcomes.
Precisely. Yeah. And when you think about the cost of unproductive meetings, all that wasted time, all those missed opportunities, it becomes pretty clear that investing in something like Swirl isn't just a nice perk, it's a strategic move.
Yeah, it could have a real impact on the bottom line.
Absolutely.
I can already see how this could change the way companies work, but before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a minute to recap what we've talked about.
Sounds good.
We started by talking about the hidden costs of meetings, all that prep work that just drains your time and resources.
Right?
And then we introduced Swirl AI Search as a possible solution. We talked about how its zero ETL approach keeps your data secure and avoids those data migration headaches.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we started to think about how being more efficient could actually lead to better meetings and outcomes that are more valuable.
Excellent summary.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think it sets us up perfectly for a deeper look into how Swirl actually works and what it looks like in action.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's move on to part 2, where we can get into some specific examples and really see what this technology can do.
I'm excited. Stay tuned, listeners, because in part 2, we're going to get hands-on with Swirl and see how it could completely transform your approach to meetings.
Welcome back to our deep dive into making meetings actually matter.
Yeah.
In part 1, we were talking about those hidden costs that come with getting ready for meetings and how AI could help us take back some of that lost time.
It was crazy to think about how many hours we're wasting.
Right.
And then to imagine what we could be doing with even a little bit of that time back.
Totally.
But I'm ready to see Swirl in action now.
Good.
Can you kind of walk us through like a real world scenario so we can picture it?
Sure. Let's say you're getting ready for a big meeting where you're going to talk about the marketing budget for next quarter.
Okay.
You've got people from all the different teams, social media, content marketing, email analytics. Everyone needs to be on the same page.
That sounds like a meeting where you definitely want to have all the right data in front of you.
It is. Now, in the olden days, you'd probably be spending hours, maybe even days, gathering reports, analyzing data, trying to find that one email with that one crucial bit of information.
Yeah.
It can be such a time suck
Yeah.
and so frustrating.
And even after all that work, you could still miss something.
Oh, totally.
Like some important number buried in a spreadsheet or a key insight that was hidden in an email thread somewhere.
That's the problem with manual searches. You never really know.
Yeah.
But with Swirl, things are much more streamlined. Imagine just typing in a question like, what was the ROI for our Q2 social media campaigns? Or what's the projected website traffic for next quarter?
So it's like having a search engine just for your company's data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the difference is Swirl doesn't just show you a bunch of files. It uses AI to understand what you're really asking, and then it finds the most relevant information, even if it's tucked away in a big document or spread out across different sources.
And all this happens without moving any data around, right?
Right.
We talked about Swirl's zero ETL approach, which means the data stays safe and sound within the company's systems.
Exactly. Security and privacy are super important, and Swirl is built with that in mind. It just plugs right into your existing security protocol so you don't have to compromise on anything.
Okay, so back to our marketing budget meeting. Instead of spending hours putting all the data together,
Yeah.
you could just get the insights you need right away.
Imagine being able to instantly see the ROI for a particular campaign, or compare website traffic from different channels, or even analyze customer engagement metrics, all while you're having this budget discussion.
That changes everything. But let's talk about the bigger impact here. How does being more prepared actually lead to a more effective meeting?
Well, think about it. When you walk into that meeting with all the information you need, you're not just another person sitting at the table. You're actually contributing to the conversation.
Right.
You can ask good questions, offer insights, and share perspectives that might have been missed otherwise.
You're not just reacting to what other people are saying, you're shaping the conversation.
Exactly. And when everyone's on the same page, the whole meeting is just better. It's more focused, more productive, and in the end, it's a better use of everyone's time.
Balzac says you can cut down prep time from 7 to 9 hours a week to less than an hour.
It's a huge difference.
It really is. But it's not just about having more time.
Right.
It's about making the most of the time you spend in the meeting.
Absolutely. You're investing in better preparation so you get better results.
And when you think about how much unproductive meetings cost, all that wasted time and missed opportunities, it's clear that a tool like Swirl isn't just a nice thing to have, it's a smart move.
It's strategic.
Yeah.
It can really affect the bottom line.
I'm starting to see how Swirl isn't just about helping individuals be more productive, it's about building a more efficient and strategic organization.
You got it.
But let's get real for a minute. I'm sure some people listening are wondering how hard it is to set up something like Swirl. Is it a big IT project? Do you need a bunch of data scientists to make it work?
Those are great questions, and they lead us perfectly into our next segment, where we're going to talk about the nuts and bolts of actually implementing Swirl, how easy it is to use, and how it scales with your organization.
Because in the end, the best technology is the technology that people actually use.
Right.
So stay tuned, listeners, because in part 3, we'll be sharing the secrets of how to integrate AI effortlessly and how Swirl can fit into your current workflow without any major disruptions.
Okay, so we're back for the last part of our deep dive into making meetings really count. And I'm really curious to hear more about the practical side of things, like actually using a tool like Swirl.
Yeah, I think that's a question a lot of people have. They picture this big, complicated IT project.
Right.
But Swirl is actually designed to be really user-friendly. It just works with your existing systems, so
Yeah.
you don't have to, completely change everything.
So it's not like you have to rip out all your old tech just to get Swirl up and running. Nope, not at all. Swirl works with what you've already got. So whether you're using Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, Slack, Dropbox, it doesn't matter. It connects to all those different data sources.
That's a relief. But what about actually learning how to use it? Do people need a lot of training to really get the hang of Swirl?
That's another thing Swirl does really well. They've made it super intuitive. Like it's as easy as typing in your question or topic, just like you would with a regular search engine.
So no need to learn a whole new system or spend hours in training sessions.
Exactly. Most people can just start using it right away. And the cool thing is, as you use it, Swirl actually learns and gets better over time. It starts to tailor its results to your specific needs and what you're interested in.
So it's always getting smarter. That's pretty amazing. But we've been talking a lot about prepping for individual meetings. Could Swirl be used on a larger scale, like for a whole team or even an entire company?
Absolutely. Swirl is built to scale. So whether you're a small team or a giant corporation, it can handle it. And it can adapt to the amount of data you have.
So imagine a scenario where a whole department is working on a big product launch. Swirl could be like their central hub for all their research and keeping everyone in sync.
Yeah, exactly. It can help break down those information silos that you often see in bigger organizations, where people in different departments don't have access to the same information.
Right.
So with Swirl, everyone has access to the same up-to-date information no matter what their role is or where they're located.
It's like having one source of truth for the whole company.
That's a great way to put it. And by connecting all those different data sources and departments, Swirl can help uncover insights and opportunities that you might have missed otherwise.
So it's not just about being more efficient. It's about using AI to make smarter decisions and get better results.
Exactly. It's about empowering teams to do their best work and ultimately create a more successful company.
Well, we've covered a lot today, from those hidden costs of meetings to how AI can help us change the game. And as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that preparing for meetings effectively isn't a luxury anymore. It's something we all need to be doing. And with tools like Swirl, it's actually doable. We have the technology now to streamline our work, empower our teams, and unlock the true potential of all the knowledge we have.
That's a great way to put it. It all goes back to that statistic we talked about earlier, 7 to 9 hours a week spent on meeting prep. Imagine what you could do if you could get even a little bit of that time back.
It's mind-blowing. The possibilities are endless.
They really are. So listeners, we encourage you to check out the world of AI-powered search and think about how it could change the way you approach meetings. Maybe you'll get a whole workday back, or even discover some hidden superpowers along the way. Until next time, keep on diving deep.